Every single time that jingle just gets me in the mood for what is episode 2 of the Work Sucks podcast with me, Toby King of Freeformers, and
Callie Adamson-Buckin of Wigglework.
Whoop whoop. Here we are. We're doing another episode. We are live on LinkedIn as well for those watching when we are recording it. But you might be also listening on catch up via podcast. That's also cool. But we do live stream it, so we do pop up every now and again. How you been, Callie?
Oh man, listening to that intro always brings me back to basement punk shows, and so I'm really good just sitting here like bobbing in the background as the video played.
I know. I like it. Just takes back to was in a completely different mode until that music hit, and then I'm like, yes, this is what we're doing. We're a little bit punky, we're a little bit rebellious, and we're just talking about the crappy bits of work. So for those of us who are first-time listeners, viewers, and all those things in between, this is the Work Sucks podcast. Every episode, we invite a guest and we ask them 8 questions about the worst moments of their working life. We have 10 episodes a season, and then the 11th episode, the bonus episode, is where we look back and pick the worst moments and try and craft, essentially, the worst job every season. Work Sucks, of course, is inspired by those lovely chaps of Blink-182 in that song, All the Small Things. We can't use that as our jingle because that would be expensive. So that's why we have that faux pop punk jingle going on right there. But
It's the vibe.
It definitely hits the vibe. Right. So, without further ado, should we get cracking and talk to our guest number 2?
Absolutely. Are you ready for the big reveal?
Who's it gonna be?
Hey!
Hey, Siobhan! How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I think we're good. I think we seem quite giddy. So what usually should be a 45-minute episode could be, a
3 hours.
It's a really dangerous time, UK time, though, isn't it? Because I've got no other work meetings coming up. We could just.
And this is the trick, right? That we've lured you in now. You've got nothing else to do other than go to bed after this is finished. I'm here with a whiskey. I'm in for the long haul. Siobhan, just tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
So I'm Siobhan, and I am a HR consultant and coach. My business is high performing HR, and I work with small businesses on all their people stuff. And that's
Nice.
it's too hard to say what you do in HR. So it's just people.
And I think this is the cool thing about this podcast is we're talking about your experiences at work, right? But as a HR person, you have a little bit of the inside scoop about how things work and all that kind of stuff. So we're super jazzed and excited to have you on. Callie, have you got any, because I've known Siobhan for a while now, but Callie, do you have any introductory questions you want to ask for Siobhan to get to know her a bit better?
I mean, maybe if I'd have prepped some. I have a qualifier. I wonder when we're talking to HR people, because we've all had so many horror stories that we're peripherally a part of. As long as we just give disclaimers that they're not our own, can we include other people's terrible stories or a terrible story we were connected to?
We're not doctors. It's not patient-doctor confidentiality, is there? I don't know. Siobhan,
Right,
you're the HR expert.
Thinking back to episode 1 and the evolution of all of this, I think there's so many fun stories that we're a part of that aren't necessarily our stories, but I think that that's okay to share those, right?
I think so.
Okay. I just wanted you to have that in the back of your mind as you're answering some of these questions. Josh was I don't have an interesting answer to this one for episode 1, but maybe you have an interesting answer that's just not your answer, if that makes sense.
And you've triggered a memory in my brain, actually, because when I was working in-house for an organisation, because there are so many stories we're on the peripheral of, it was a group of us. There was 2 really senior HR people that started it, and we all tagged on, started writing HR the musical. That just entertained us for about 4 years, and we kept adding scenes and adding the music that went with it. Should I stay or should I go? Don't touch me there. Those sort of songs. And we had I tell you, it would have been 3-part bit like the Harry Potter one. You have to go over 2 nights. It was that long by the end of it.
And it is immediately apparent why Toby picked you to come and hang out with us.
I need HR the musical in my life. We need to
It
make
was
that happen.
amazing. It was amazing. We should make it happen real life.
Okay, you heard it. You heard it here first. Siobhan is going to pen and produce HR the musical. It'll probably be on the West End first, then it'll be on Broadway in a couple of years. So if you're over in the States, watch out, it's coming.
And actually, my colleague
to do the music, the ultimate inappropriate musical writer. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who? What?
Get Tim Minchin to write the music.
Nice.
That is the right vibe. And my colleague who started it, she's Scottish, so we could go on to the Fringe as well, I'm thinking.
Yes. See, nice. That's okay. Premieres at the Fringe.
Yeah. Smaller audience build up. Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I'll tell her.
Please do, because you've got some collaborators here willing to get on board very, very quickly. I'll exec produce. That's fine. I'll happily do that. Okay, well, I have a little bit of a fear that we will go off on tangents, and that's okay. But let's get to business and let's start figuring out, Siobhan, what are the worst moments in your working life? So let's roll up with question 1, and question 1 is, what was your worst interview experience?
Okay, so this is the point that Callie made, because when I was thinking about this, it was like me or when I was interviewing somebody. So both I had when I was interviewing somebody for a role once, very early on in my career, they started to get undressed for no apparent reason. Quickly left the room, and they were escorted out. I think they had a bit of they were so nervous about the interview, and they had some sort of brain fart, I don't know. And luckily didn't go right down to the boxes, thank God. But I don't think that would happen so much now. This was probably, what was it? Probably mid 2000s that happened.
I mean, one of the first things we said to Siobhan, no names, dates, or locations. Straight out of the gate. There's a date. So the 2000s stretch from the year 2000 to 2025. It's a very, very broad.
Very broad. But yeah, that happened to me when I was interviewing. So that's probably the worst one that I've held. When it was me being interviewed, I turned up at an interview and they said, "What do you know about this role?" And I said, "This is what I know about this role." And they said, "That isn't the role at all." Basically, it was the recruitment agent had completely, like they like to twist the truth a little bit, but it was so far away from the truth. We had a very nice cup of tea and a chat together, and I left. We didn't carry on the interview because it wasn't the job I wanted. And I was thankful they were honest, though. At least didn't go like 40 minutes into the interview and then were like, "Yeah, no, this isn't." So in some ways, it was a blessing. But
can you tell me what I'm actually interviewing for, and we'll decide if I'm interested?
Yeah, exactly. It was, that was bizarre. That was absolutely bizarre. So I think that recruitment agent would have been maybe taken off the books.
To that one. Rightfully so.
How much prep did you do?
Not low. I mean, it wasn't a particular senior role. Again, quite early in my career, so it wasn't loads of prep. But even still, it was a massive waste of everybody's time.
Yeah, but surely as well, the recruiter, if they missold the role to you, they must have missold it to a number of people as well. So all the interviews that day were like, no, that's not the job that we have open here.
The face of the hiring manager, because I think I was the first one of the day. So I could see the face drop and be like, I'm going to have a really awful day today if they're all. But thank goodness he opened with that question because, that was bizarre.
Also, just on the hiring manager, though, because surely you would expect a hiring manager to at least peruse the CV somewhat before the interview. And so might they not have looked at your CV and went, why am I talking to Siobhan? Siobhan has nothing to do with this role whatsoever. Why am I talking to her?
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I've still got that first story rattling around in my head. I'm just like, what level of nervousness do you get to decide that that's probably the best course of action? It's not.
There was definitely lots going on there.
It sounds like the kind of thing that gets you arrested.
Yes.
Like, is this some weird fantasy thing?
Yeah. It wasn't like it was an intimidating thing or anything. It was clearly this person wasn't well and just had a breakdown, I guess.
Eesh.
I know.
Well, I think that's something to be said for especially in today's day and age in kind of the working world, the amount of pressure and amount of interviews as part of a process is like, you can kind of understand why someone would have a mental breakdown through some of these interview processes. Not saying your interview process was particularly panic-inducing, but like, I kind of get it. I mean, it's probably on the far end of the spectrum of the weirdest things that could happen. Usually, with me, I'd just get very clammy. Maybe that's what happened. They need to cool down. I don't know.
Well, I think so, but that wouldn't be my first response. Might take off my jacket, but that'll yeah, kind of stop there.
What's did Jeff Goldblum say in the Jurassic Park? Like, when you gotta go, you gotta go. When you gotta cool down, you gotta cool down. If you're heating up, then you know, maybe the aircon wasn't working. Wow. Right. Well, Callie.
Yeah. No, I think it's time to talk about your worst boss. Tell us all the things, but no dates.
No dates and no names and no places. This one was quite hard. Sometimes, though, a bad boss can be for the better in the long term. So there was a couple of occasions where I had quite incompetent bosses, and at the time it was really, really frustrating. But it ended up that I kind of got a promotion out of it because they'd go and I could step in. So actually, sometimes a bad boss can be, and you can learn a lot from a bad boss. And I was talking to some new trainees the other day in a workshop, and I was saying that very thing. But I have had a bad boss that didn't help in anything in my life. I can't say that was a learning opportunity. So, how much can I say? So before this, I hadn't been involved in the recruitment of my new boss. So I was a very good HR professional. My boss left internally, and I had my succession plan, because, you know, that's what you do. And I had this guy on my succession plan who was a fantastic leader. Everyone rated him. He was in ad interim role. Life was good. And then I get a phone call from my old boss that had left saying, just to give you a heads up, I know who's got my job, and it's not who we want it to be. And be very careful and watch your back. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. That sounds really positive. And so there was all these red flags before they even joined. So I was not looking forward to that. And I thought, well, did a bit of investigation. Background did not look great. Somebody hadn't done their due diligence because it was a global thing, and, you know, nobody talked to the local HR person because who am I? Just a minion. And so I was already panic-stricken looking at our code of conducts and our compliance-y stuff before they'd even joined. And then when they joined, I thought, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Well, maybe some of this is all rumours and, you know, talk. But no, it wasn't. So yes, very, very, it was all around the behaviour of, you know, saying things in meetings and then denying they said those things in meetings, even when it's a bit like Trump. You know, I've got a recording of you saying this. It's like, no, I didn't say it. That's all lies and fake news. That kind of, exactly the same kind of behaviour. That's very hard to work with.
You can't get anywhere with that.
No, and you can't do right. You can't do wrong. It was really, and I think when you're in a HR role, it's even harder in a way, because I ended up being a bit of a buffer between them and the rest of the senior leadership team. I was taking on all their emotions because they were having the same sort of emotions as I was. So I had all that to deal with, plus my own. So that was really, really tricky tough. So I can honestly say I did not learn anything from that experience apart from I survived and I'm still in HR. That's the only thing I can say from it, really.
Well, I think the cool thing is your the self-reflection and kind of going when you have had the bad bosses, because when you said like, oh, at least I learned something from it, and I think about one of my bad bosses, one of my many bad bosses.
Many.
I've also had some incredible ones, but this is called work sucks, not work's amazing.
Yeah.
But when I reflect on some of them, you kind of go, at least I learned something there. There are some of them, case in point, like we just kind of that was just a really sucky experience. How long did you like did that mean you wanted to like move on? Like how did you cope with it?
I did move on, and what I did learn actually, because I did learn that moving on in emotion is probably not the best thing to do. So I didn't really think it through properly. And actually, if I had my rational brain turned on, I might not have done that. I might have stayed and fought and waited and bided my time, because I knew that person wouldn't be around for very long, and they weren't. But then again, everything happens for a reason. So, but I think that was my learning from that. So yeah, I moved on. And then that sent me on a completely different path, because immediately I was like, I don't want to do HR anymore. It's too hard. It's too emotional. There's too much. But then I realized actually I did still love HR. It was just the environment I was in I didn't love. And then eventually, after some pivots and some wiggles, I ended up with my own business, and I'm absolutely loving it. So again, you send you on a road that sends you in a good place, but while I was on the road, not that great.
Well, I mean, if we're going to start quoting early 2000s kind of pop punk music, slightly adjacent, Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit once said, everything happens for a reason, in the Mission Impossible theme that they did. So everything happens for a reason, right? Like, of course, like how I managed to get Limp Bizkit in there, I have no idea. But like, it happened, like everything happens for a reason.
Unnecessary reference.
It wasn't unnecessary. There's never an unnecessary Limp Bizkit reference in my household. But yeah, everything. But in the moment, it doesn't feel like that, right? In the moment, like it sucks. And there was someone who told me, and I think this is quite a well-trodden trope for coaches. Like, how would you feel about this situation in a day, a week, a month, and a year? And the year one is always like, I completely forgotten it even had happened, to be completely honest. But it, of course, shapes you in your direction, which is cool.
Yeah. And that was the question I was asking myself, is like, how long do I wait? Can I be resilient enough to stick it out? And then it was why should I wait?
Well, and this is the shitty thing about work, right? Is that realistically, you shouldn't be putting people in that situation where it's like having to think about how long can I stick this out. That's like that's almost a form of torture. How long can I stick this out before I buckle, right? It's insane. But as we're probably going to discover throughout the many episodes that we've planned for this podcast, that is just probably, unfortunately, all too a common a situation.
Yeah.
Tell me what's up next.
So I've got a slight L&D bent to my career, so this one's for me. What's the worst training course you've ever been on?
This one was quite hard actually, because I've been on some amazing ones, some just ones, mediocre. I think the ones that stick in my head are, and you see them less and less, where it's like death by PowerPoint and people just talk at you. And I remember one where the trainer just said all the time, and I was with a colleague and we just counted how many times they said and then we're giggling and all that kind of like basically like being back at school. And it was a 2-day course, and literally the only thing I learned from it was how many times that person said and I had a laugh and I ate some biscuits, and that was it. I can't even remember what the course was. Can't even remember what I was supposed to be learning. Yeah, it was 2 days. It was tedious.
I mean, if you're counting then
That's
it
too
does
many
sound tedious.
days. Why 80
It's
days?
too many days. It was funny though. I mean, I did bond with that colleague. That was the good thing that came out of it, because we were both like, "Oh my gosh, this is so boring." And then, I was going to date myself then as well. But then it would be, you know, like these whole glances when they'd say something, and then you start sniggering, and then you can't stop sniggering, and then you can't listen anyway. So that poor trainer was probably thinking I was awful, but they should have just made it more interesting. I can say that because I also do training. I like to think mine are interesting, but anyone who's done my training, tell me otherwise. Give me some feedback.
Yeah, anybody in chat, if you've been on Siobhan's training, let us know what it was like. Does Siobhan have any verbal tics? I had
do.
You do have one?
I'm sure I do.
Okay. That's okay. For the remainder of this podcast, we're going to see if we can figure out what it is. AI has taught me that I have a tic. So all my AI, when I talk to my AI, I always say right or okay. It's like, can't just tell it what I need it to do. I have to like, hey, how you doing?
Please.
Please, robot overlord, please do my work for me.
I'm very polite to my robot overlord too, just in case they turn on me at any point.
Look, you gotta have all bases covered. Like, politeness costs nothing in the real world and in the artificial intelligence world. So, death by PowerPoint, saying a lot. I think, but you had a more let's say diplomatic answer than our previous guest, who just said all training that they've been on was awful.
Well, I can't say that because I do training. You see, so some training is amazing.
Siobhan's training is amazing.
My training is amazing.
Tell me about an amazing training, because I'm kind of in the Josh Dreen boat here. I have not had amazing trainings.
I have to say it has been more recent years, and because you get one extreme to the other, you get the death by PowerPoint and you just want to kill yourself. And then there's the let's get in a group and let's do some icebreakers, and it's really cringe and embarrassing. It's somewhere in between. You know, stuff where you actually leave it and you go, that was actually quite helpful. I can actually do something with this. That's what you want. Where it's actually real life. You know, you can apply it in real life and think, oh, that makes that actually, yeah, I can do that.
I'm imagining. Oh, sorry, go on, Kelly.
Well, I was just going to say, you made like actual commercials, right? Like you recorded videos for some of your trainings. That make that up?
Yeah, like adverts stuff. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Like, especially in like when I worked at media agencies as well. It's like I had a film team. I could say, hey, can you make me like a real trailer for this? Like, let's make it a branded experience. The thing I have in my head is the exercise I absolutely hate is like, because they call it team building, right? I think the thinly veiled illusion of team building to have a really rubbish exercise in training is let's build a tower out of marshmallows and dried spaghetti and see who can build the best tower. There's like, that's fun and cool and in a way, but it doesn't really teach me anything about what I need to work. And then there's death by PowerPoint on this end, and what I'm hearing is what Siobhan does very well is bridges the gap between those two methodologies to give you the perfect training experience.
Absolutely.
We don't have sponsors on this podcast, but that is hashtag ad right there.
Product placement.
I think it's time to move on. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. What's the next question?
Tell us about your worst first day.
So there's none that massively stick out apart from one organization where I had no equipment for like 2 weeks. So I joined and I had no computer, nothing. So I didn't do anything. I was bored. I just felt like my issue is I hate feeling like I'm wasting my time. And everyone was saying to me, oh, I enjoy it because once you get busy, and I'm like, I can't do nothing. You know, I need to be doing something. So that I don't think I stuck it out, because I just thought if they can bring me on and not have me do anything for this long, that's not really the kind of organization I want to work for, because it's not very exciting or energizing or innovative or anything. It was just, yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing is like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but they knew you were coming. It wasn't just like you turned up on a Monday and went,
No,
hey,
hi.
I'd like to start a job today if you wouldn't mind. oh, what? We weren't ready. We're not ready. Come back. Like they interviewed you, you'd signed contracts, and then like, just. So what did you do for 2 weeks?
I read some stuff, and I think that was about it. I went to some meetings, but it just had a very this. I'm not going to date it, but this was quite a while ago, so things weren't as well automated as they are now. But they had just
been assigned your typewriter. You had
your
typewriter.
Yeah, my typewriter. But it was very convoluted onboarding. Put it that way. Very, very complicated. And there was a lot of security involved as well, which has probably added another layer to it.
But isn't that the phenomenal thing that you can make I see so many companies get this wrong, right? Induction and onboarding experiences. You can get that so wrong when actually most of it is so freaking simple. Like all they need to do in that situation is like make sure this person has a laptop. Maybe not on the first minute of their first day because you need to set up passwords and security and stuff like that. But at least maybe in the first morning, because you're probably going to have to do some sort of compliance training anyway. So you've got to click through that shit and get that out of the way.
Absolutely. And when we were saying earlier about not directly to you, so being in HR, I've seen it. You'll be shocked the number of times where a new starter has joined and their manager's not there. And you're like, dude, you've got somebody starting. Why aren't? Oh, I was going to work from home. What? You'll be surprised how often that happens.
One of my first days, I was living outside of London, and I came into London to the office, and it wasn't in a very easy part of London to get to. And I was in the office for about half an hour. Right, we're off to Reading. And I was like, what? I have literally come kind of from that way, and now I've come all the way in for me to go back out to Reading. Callie, you have no idea where Reading is. Essentially, I travelled an hour and a half into London to then travel an hour and a half back out of London again on my first morning, and I was like, "This is this normal?"
Why?
Client meeting. I was like, "Oh, cool! You think I'm ready to meet clients? Well, that's probably testament. Either that, or you're so desperate to have some support that like just get the new guy to do it. He'll be fine.
Yeah, wing it. Fine. You can talk.
2 weeks though. That's nuts. That's
It was absolutely nuts. Yeah.
Did they at least give you like a notebook and a pen?
I had a notebook and a pen. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, but did you take your own, or did they give it to you?
No, they gave me one.
Oh,
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
bit of cash in that company, giving out the free pens and paper.
It absolutely was cash in that company. Just really, really bad onboarding.
I have to ask now, the techie person in me, was it even a good laptop when you got it?
No, it was one of those like a brick,
The bad laptops are the one with the red nipples on, right? You know, the ones that are
yes, I know.
Why does anybody use that? Why is that still a thing on laptops? Like, it's not the 80s. Like, everyone has a mouse or a mouse pad. Why do we need this little red dot that?
I know.
Sort it out, computer manufacturers. Sort it out. I know. I'm not expecting everyone to have MacBooks, but come on, we can at least just make them slightly nicer. Cool. Is it my question next, Callie?
Uh-huh.
The most highly polished production in the world. What is one of the worst things you've been asked to do at work?
Oh, it's just too many. Because when you're
That's fine. Pick the top 3. We got all night.
Well, when you're in HR, you often get asked all sorts of random things, like there's no toilet roll. So why is that my issue? Honestly, there's no toilet roll. Well,
was your office closest to the bathroom?
No, it's just because it's a people issue. Because there's no toilet roll, and I don't know who else to go to. I try facilities. I don't know. Why would I know? Why would I? So, or we had.
Sorry, I need to. I would go to procurement because they're the people who buy the stuff. So procurement are really who you should be talking to. Like, hey, procurement, you've not procured enough toilet roll. Where the hell is it?
And I also had. So there was issues with the bathrooms. I've got a theme going on here, haven't I? Where they were just disgusting. Somebody was trashing them. So at one point, somebody was trashing them on purpose. But then there was also another issue where we had a lot of people coming from a specific part of the world who wanted to stand on the toilet seat to squat.
Okay,
And
that makes sense.
which makes sense, but nobody kind of did that cultural kind of awareness with them about what to do and how to use it. And so their toilet seats were being broken. And then it escalated. From that, it escalated to just complete carnage in the bathrooms. And that became a HR issue. And you're like, I did not study to deal with shit in the bathroom. That I had to,
literally shit in the bathroom.
And then put up a sign HR in the toilet to say keep the toilet clean. And it's like, really?
Facilities or like maintenance? No, like what? Yeah, that's okay. And do you have any more toilet related stories that you've had to do? Let's pull the thread of what's the worst toilet related thing.
What's the worst toilet related? I think that's probably my worst toilet related ones, because it was pretty grim, to be fair. Yeah, that's my only toilet one. And another thing I was asked to do was I had to invite myself to my boss's birthday party and get him a gift. That was actually an objective, to sort out a birthday party for him. I had to go, invite myself, and get him a gift, and invite all the other management team.
Well, because he's some sort of toddler.
Or a narcissist.
One of the same thing. I have a toddler. He is a narcissist.
You're right. You're absolutely right. They are the same thing.
There's the US version of The Office is notorious. Like the running themes with is like Michael has to have parties all the time for people's birthdays, but when it gets to his birthday party, it's like mine has to be the best.
Yeah, it was like that. It was exactly like that.
Well, if everyone's not there, how does everyone know yours was the best?
Well, I mean, that's
clearly you had to be there.
So, I need to. I'm gonna go down the road. So because you said you had to invite yourself. Did you have to do actual invitation, or was it just an email invite, or were there actual invitations?
No, there was invitation, not invitations that were posted out, but like an e-invitation thing, which of course got delegated. But even still, the fact that was a priority says it all. In fact, it was just, yeah.
Was it a party at the office?
No. Oh no. This is a special occasion. It wasn't even a big birthday either, I don't think. It was just a birthday.
For some people, any birthday is a big birthday. But
yeah.
Oh, well, there's so people. Apologies here, but birthday weeks or birthday months, and the whole thing goes on for ages.
Yeah.
Just get over
birthdays.
It. But
what about me?
Generally, my birthday celebrations happen outside of work. To be honest, in some places that I've worked, the last people I want at my birthday party. I'm 38. I'm not having birthday parties. I'm not but I'm not inviting people from work generally.
No.
So he made everybody from work come to his
only
birthday
the management
party.
team. Only the management team.
Because
you invite everybody. Yeah. I mean, most people just buy cakes, don't they? And go.
That's fine. It's
my birthday,
fine.
and everyone eats the cakes, and everyone goes home, and everyone's happy. That's fine. Just do that.
Can you organise me a birthday party? Invite yourself. I'm not an animal.
You're welcome.
You can come as well. That is the literal you're not coming to my birthday party. You can imagine that was said in performance reviews, in whatever organisation and whatever manager this might be.
Yeah. But everyone knew you had to go. So people were cancelling things because it's if you don't go, you won't ever get that promotion or that pay rise or whatever. You've got to go.
But I'm having my appendix out.
Yeah. Madness.
Well, one last question. Did you have to sort a cake as well?
Yeah, fancy one as well.
What kind of cake was it?
I can't remember. It had some special glazing on it. It was from a particular place in London. Yeah.
Which he obviously said, I want my cake from this.
Match
Do it yourself.
I know. had a PA as well.
What?
Can I ask
Even
your
after the
relation?
PA.
Like in the org chart, where was your relation to this individual?
So
Well, Siobhan was head of party planning, so naturally it fell to Siobhan to sort out.
that is another job of HR. Yeah, so he was the head of the business and I was the HR BP. So
That is wild.
Okay, before we move to the next question, and then I'll throw over to you, Callie, to ask the next question. Out of the toilet roll, toilet seat, or birthday party, which one of those did you hate dealing with the most?
the birthday party.
Yeah, I
Genuinely.
bet I would much rather deal with a toilet roll issue than
Because the
organise
toilet
this
roll
prick's
issue,
birthday.
and I didn't know who was doing the toilet roll things. Oh, not the toilet roll. Yeah, so I didn't know who was taking all the toilet, and that's just done. Yeah, the dirty
Wait
toilet.
a minute, the plot thickens. Someone was stealing the toilet roll?
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
Well, that changes everything.
I know. I did actually. That's another thing. Actually, I was asked once by a manager to put CCTV on the stationery cupboard because people were taking pens. My response was, "Get a life." Seriously, I said, "Get a life," and he
Get more
did.
pens.
Well, he didn't get a life, but he didn't. He took it anyway.
Pens. Yeah. Were they?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine they were just like biros and stuff. They weren't like
No, they weren't fancy
fountain
pens.
pens.
No. You know, pack of 10 in Tesco for 10p or whatever. Yeah. Put CCTV out, but I was like, no, get a life.
That does sound like it might be the same person that had to organise the
Actually,
party fault.
it isn't.
How have these two people not come up in worst boss?
And I forgot about the stationery cupboard, so you just triggered a memory for me. So thanks for that.
You're welcome, I think. I don't know.
So easy changes. I think everyone has at least one experience that they think of a lot at work where it's like, if you made this tiny little tweak, it would have made a world of difference. Things would have been so much better. Maybe it's just, someone else making signs instead of HR having to do it. Like, what is your, this is so dumb and easy, why couldn't we have done this situation?
What I just think is communicate. People just don't communicate, and I don't know why. And you have all these secret side conversations that go behind the scenes, and then it's like, then there's misunderstandings, and then it all goes horribly wrong. Especially if you're the subject of it. Like if you don't know, I don't know. There's an example where we're talking about bonuses, and I know there was some side conversations going on, and then I got the output from it, and I was like, hold on a minute. But I'd missed all the workings around it, that kind of thing. It's like some of this stuff that people think is really secret squirrel stuff isn't. It really isn't. So
that's how I feel about most HR.
Yes.
Like most good HR is common sense. How does this impact people? Let's do the right thing.
Yeah. But it's not, you'd be surprised how little common sense there is in the world, I think, because you just think, well, why didn't you just have the conversation? Oh, well, there's usually an excuse why they didn't have the conversation, but just have the conversation.
I mean, it is crazy that it gets to that point, like people just aren't talking to each other. But I think the world is full of things not happening because people aren't just sitting down and having a conversation about it. That's what marriage counselors do. They get the husbands and wives to sit down and talk about the stuff that they weren't talking about at home. Like it happens everywhere.
It does, yeah.
But it gets that point where there's a marked difference between like personal relationships and work relationships, that you shouldn't have to have some sort of marriage counselor to get people at work to talk to each other, because it's literally a job to make sure you're communicating effectively.
And interestingly, a lot of the business psychologists actually started out as marriage counselors.
Huh.
And they were like, oh, hold on, this is just human interaction. We could probably apply this to the workplace. Yeah, we can. And actually, I did have a boss who, actually, I forgot about this as well, who the head of HR, really, really, really senior, his background was sex therapy.
Yes. Mary would be so pleased if she were here.
So
he was great, actually. He was great.
You've got a sense of humor if that's your background.
Yeah.
Our good friend Mary, who co-organizes Disrupt HR Green Bay with myself and Callie, literally got up on stage and went, and part of this improv Disrupt HR talk that she was doing, going, "Hey, we've all had sex in the office, right?" Just like...
Did she ask you to sit down and stand up with you? I'd be too intrigued.
Maybe next year, when we do it next year, maybe we'll get Mary and a sex therapist to have like a panel conversation on stage.
It was so interesting though, because his conversations that he'd had with people, you could tell he was using the same techniques, but obviously on a different subject. But
yeah.
he was very good. Yeah.
How did he, like, do you know the bridge? How he ended up in the workplace and not?
I don't know. I never asked him actually. I was when I found out, I was too shocked, and he was very, very senior. So I only actually saw him face to face like 4 or 5 times, and he wasn't in the same country either. And I wasn't brave enough to ask him. But I imagining it's the same as these therapists and these psychologists who write the books. It was like, hold on a minute, I can apply this same thing in this situation.
Yeah,
and it would still work.
So we're learning, there is more money in organizational psychology than there is in sex psychology.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. That is one thing I didn't think I was finding out this evening, but now I know.
Me neither. Told you go on a tangent.
So the question was, what? Oh, it was communication. The answer was communication.
Yeah, communication.
Sorry, we did go on a tangent.
And have sex therapists as head of HR. There you go. That solves place issues. Apparently.
I think that's the comment that this podcast was made for, honestly.
Clip it up, get it on the advert. That's the trailer for this episode right there. Okay, I'm going to try and move us on. Because otherwise I'm going to start asking questions that I shouldn't be asking on a live stream on LinkedIn. What is a recurring nightmare you've had because of a bad work experience?
Oh, like an actual real nightmare, like a sleeping nightmare or a waking nightmare.
Up for interpretation.
Choose.
Sorry, Callie, what did you say?
Up for interpretation. You choose.
Because I do have regular dreams about spreadsheets, which is never pleasant.
Okay, now we're going right back to therapy.
Yeah, therapy.
Tell me about these dreams. What are these dreams like? Describe the dreams.
What does this mean? It's good to dream. So I just hate detail. I'm not a detail person, and I like bigger picture stuff. So if I have to do anything spreadsheety, and because I know I can make mistakes, because it bores me, I have to really, really concentrate. So if I'm doing a lot of stuff like that, and thank goodness for AI and automation, and I can interpret things. I can get AI to like, here's a load of data, summarize it and interpret it for me. I can do anything to avoid spreadsheets, but I have had dreams about spreadsheets of like literally my brain is putting things in cells and stuff, and it's just because I'm so like about them. I can do it, but it's just boring as hell.
Here's a slight tangent again. My nan, who has is not with us anymore, but when the first Game Boy came out, I had a Game Boy, and then I got the new Game Boy. She got my old Game Boy, and she used to play Tetris. We had to take the Game Boy off her because she dreamt blocks were falling on her, and she was waking up in cold sweats because she was imagining blocks. So what I've got in my head is like an image of you in a spreadsheet with like these cells like
That's exactly what it's like. Exactly.
That's terrible. That's terrifying.
That's terrible. That was a bad nightmare. I was like, I got into HR because I want to work with people, not spreadsheets. Yeah.
Oh, that's another good clip.
Thanks.
I mean, I've got. Have you seen the Excel World Championships? I mean, this probably won't interest you at all, but
have they got one?
Yeah, there is competitive spreadsheet building.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Because believe it or not, there are some people that really like doing spreadsheets. Yeah. None of them are my friends, but some people really like doing spreadsheets.
They do exist.
Actually, my best friend really likes doing spreadsheets. He's an accountant, and he's really good at it, and he really likes doing it.
Yeah. Well, you need those people in life, because if the world was run by people like me, chaos. So we need the spreadsheet people.
I think that goes for every person on this podcast, that if we were running the world, there would just be fire constantly, and we couldn't tell you why. But probably something we did about 3 years ago, but I can't quite remember.
That's another good summary of World of HR.
Yeah.
These legacy arrangements that pop up from 10 years ago. Like, oh yeah, damn.
I'm going to throw you a curveball. So we are creating, a la Top Gear, our kind of, instead of fastest laps, we're having longest commutes. And Callie, because I'm an incredibly bad podcast host, I forgot, were we doing it on time or miles? I think we were doing it on time, weren't we?
I think we were doing time.
Yeah. So in your whole career, what is the longest commute you've had to do?
So it was a one-off trip because I was on the M1 when they closed it. So you know when they like close junctions? Yeah. They closed the junction before me and after me, so I was stuck. And that was, I don't know how many hours and hours. I was stuck on the M1 just outside Coventry. I know, living the dream.
Again, for our American audience and for Callie, who is also American, Coventry is in probably the top 10 not nicest places in the UK. I'm happy going on record and saying that. They closed the IKEA. There's literally nothing there now. So, was that on the way to work or on the way home?
On the way home. And I've tell you, I've never seen, when I got finally everything started moving, and I got to the Watford Gap services, and I saw the golden arches. I've never been so relieved to have a pee and get a Big Mac, because by now it was like
third toilet reference of the podcast. I just want to flag
that. Such a bottom. Yeah, so it was about 11 p.m. by this point. Yeah, and I can't remember what. So I would have left the office about 4, and I think it would have been about 11 that I got to the services. And every time I drive past Watford Gap now, which isn't very often, admittedly, I'm like, oh, it's like my saviour. It was like a beacon of hope.
You weren't even home yet, so you still had to get home from there.
Still had another hour after that, but at least I could go to the toilet and have something to eat and drink. Yeah, that was my worst experience. That was awful.
Okay.
Cry.
Watford Gap is also is hands down the worst service station in the UK.
It's rubbish. Yeah.
You don't get.
I ask Callie this. Bad against it now because it saved me.
Well, that's it. I feel like I can't diss it because it's got this emotional resonance with you that I'm like, you're the savior of this commute. I'm kind of dragging through the mud, but I'm gonna put this on record. We can't allow that because that was a one-off. What we're looking for is like your regular commute time. What was the longest regular commute time you had?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half. What was, I think Josh's was like 2.5. Like it was crazy long. Like I said, like when he said it, I was like, I don't think we're going to beat it. So
no. What? But that's a day just traveling before you.
I know, right?
Work.
But you've got an hour and a half. So you've got 90 minutes, 3 hours a day. Hey, the good news is you're second on the leaderboard. You are also last.
Yes. I don't think I want to be top of that one, but yeah, it's.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be top of it either. It's not a good leaderboard. Like I say, it's called Work Sucks. It's a light-hearted look at the worst parts of work. Okay, we got one more question. Callie, take it away.
Worst coworker, go.
Worst coworker. I had a coworker who I shouldn't laugh because actually it was quite disturbing. Who was filming people on his laptop camera. I was one of those people. There was video footage of me lifting boxes. Nice. That wasn't a very nice coworker. He was quite friendly as well. I thought we were friends, but no, we really weren't.
Okay, so the only way I could talk myself out of that, if that was me, was like, oh, I'm the health and safety officer, and I needed to make sure you were lifting boxes correctly.
Which he was not.
That is the only way I could get around that.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I guess they weren't the health
There was
and safety
no.
officer.
There was just no. There was nothing.
Was it like just women, or was it just?
Oh, yeah, just women. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What-
So that was not a nice co-worker, I have to say.
How is that not a recurring nightmare? Like, I would, every laptop camera I saw, I'd be like, I just can't, I need someone to put a post-it note over it or something.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I did for a while always cover my camera for a couple of years after that because it was quite. So yeah.
Eesh.
I know, and that's another memory that I'd locked away in my little box.
Sorry.
That I pulled out. I am going to need therapy after this.
That's it. Let's have an episode update where you give us all the real nightmares that we caused.
Yeah.
That's a whole different podcast, just like live therapy on LinkedIn. Like I say, I think we're going to have to start advising our guests that they drink their way through this podcast because there's pretty much no other way to cope when you're getting some of the stories
Traumas.
that Siobhan has talked to us about. I mean, that's just nuts. I don't know, genuinely, in some of these instances, like, I don't know what's going through someone's head to go, oh, that's probably fine. I could probably get away with that.
Yeah, I know.
That's so weird. Well, there we are. They are the 8 big questions that we have on Work Sucks. I've got to say, you've taken us on a bit of a journey, and you've taken us on all the worst bits. How would you summarize? I don't know how you're going to do this. How would you summarize your career? Has it been overtly negative, or has there been some really good stuff too?
No, there has been some amazing things too. I've had some excellent bosses.
Oh, well,
and
so
excellent jobs actually. Yeah.
So okay, well let's end with a little bit of a flourish. Like, what's your favorite moment that's happened at work in your whole career? Like, what's that one thing you go, you know what, that was just awesome, and I wish I could go back to that time and place to live that all over again?
So when I had a HR team, no, it wasn't my team because I was relatively junior, but I was in a team and it was a really good team. I haven't had that before or since, where actually I had mentors who I could ask questions of, bounce ideas. The same folks that did the musical, that was good times. Good times. So it's about community, I think, and that's what, as an independent, I can just create my own now. So it's great.
I love that. Maybe it's time to get the band back together and try and relive those glory days. I mean, for everyone that listens to our podcast, our little transatlantic podcast, we do jest about the bad stuff, but there are some good things that happen in the world of work too, and it really is heartwarming to hear that the community and the human aspect of it gives that levity and gives you that joy on a maybe daily, weekly, monthly basis. It's good to know that the good stuff is happening. Callie, how would you summarize this episode?
So many good laughs, so much therapy. I think ultimately so much resilience. You've experienced a lot and you're still laughing about it. So I am grateful and appreciative of that.
Thank you.
Same. I think the thing that's nuts is that we've just talked about pretty much the worst moments of your career. We've been able to laugh and smile about it, and I think the thing that I wish I could do more is that the level of self-reflection you have and kind of go, you know what, things happen for a reason. Fred Durst. That you can at least reflect on it, and it's not weighed you down. Some of those things are awful, and to get back up and even just like venture back into the world again after some of that stuff, I think the word that Callie said there is resilience, and the resilience and the humor that you've been able to bring to this episode has been joyous. So Siobhan, where can people find you? Where can people find more about some of this wacky stuff that you've done in your life?
I need to put some more stories up on LinkedIn and stuff. Maybe I will do that. You inspired me. So I'm on LinkedIn, and I am highperforminghr.com. thanks to my new rebrand. So yeah, you can find me there.
Well, and with that, Siobhan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.